Building in Ghana is like going to a war front.
You always have to smell the scent of the land, quote unquote. You need to do some background research whenever you're buying land because there's one thing about land. When your money goes, it doesn't come back. You know, it only takes grace of God sometimes for you to get even part of your money back. Some of those lands, like, it's very, very difficult, right? And the fact that it's an estate selling it to you doesn't mean that the land is genuine. That's what people should always note. Even if it is a registered company selling the land to you, you don't know the history. Some of them, they are just fronting and they've not even paid for the land, you know? And sometimes when they even take the money up front, they pocket it. They don't go and pay the actual owners. And all these leads to like litigation. So here's what I always say. When you're buying the land and you do your search and everything is confirmed, the next thing, like I said, like you go around and ask people. But if there's nobody around, here's a trick we normally use. The land that they claim that it's for you or they want to sell it to you, you can go and pour, like people don't like to do this, but it's about smelling the scent of the land, literally. You go and put maybe some one trip of sand or stone or let's say some blocks. If there's a problem there, someone
will appear.
Exactly, you know, just like the way sugar attracts ants.
I am a determined person. So I said, okay, I hear you, but you know, that's what I want to do because I've looked at houses that don't seem right to me in terms of what they're giving you for your money. I really want to go and purchase land. So that's where the kind of decision to purchase land came from.
Now, that is a very interesting point because today, when a lot of young people, when I advise them, shall they get land because land is like a finite resource. No land, no extra land is being created anywhere unless we go and start building in the sea, right? The land is very limited.
So 4 guys can come together, or even 3 guys can come together and say, oh, let's buy one plot of land and let's split it into 3 parts, which is even a bit bigger than the quarter plot. And they could maximize it. Or 2 people can combine, buy a full plot. And this one I found out later. The dimensions on the building plan sometimes do not match the dimensions on the ground when these masons are building it. So again, that is why it is important for your architect. Exactly.
2017, I said to my parents, you know, I'm going to buy some land. And I mean, my mother, she said, if you go and buy land, they will chop your money for you. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. So she was quite negative. And I suspect that's because family members had experienced such instances. But I am a determined person. So I said, okay, I hear you, but you know, that's what I want to do because I've looked at houses that don't seem right to me in terms of what they're giving you for your money.
So try and own a piece of property in any country. But people will tell you, oh, this place is very far. This place is far. Me, I don't like far places. In Accra, people work, let's say, at Osu airport areas. So they want to live at a place which is pretty close, like maybe at most 10 kilometers from where they work. But 10 kilometers from where you work, it's probably selling at about $100,000, $200,000 just for the land, not even the house. But if you move 15 kilometers away, then the price of land reduces to about $1,000, $2,000, etc.
In 2018, I went over because I was going over frequently, and see, I shared my decision with my cousin, and I said, you know, I really want to buy land. You know, I don't want to buy an estate house. I don't want to buy a house. I just want to build my own house. So first things first, I've got to buy land. So he said to me, actually, there's a really great lawyer who is actually selling land and he's credible. I went in to talk to him about purchasing land. I actually went in to buy 2 plots.
If you have friends who are building, you always get inspired to build. I know a story of 2 people, right, who were in university and they were good friends. And then when they completed university, one went to buy land at Chiado and he encouraged his friend. That time, Chiado, which is in Accra, was very expensive, but not as expensive as it is today. So they bought a full plot of land and then they divided it into 2. Then when the lady starts like clearing the land, she will encourage the guy. He will also go and clear the land. And in fact, it was the guy who told me this testimony or this story that if not for the lady, he would never own a house today. Because as a young man, dear Charlie, I grew on him, so enjoyment was on his mind. But the lady was focused. They are not married. They are best friends. friends. And today they are living side by side in prime area in Accra, Ghana, because they were focused. They motivated each other. And you there for all your friends. Hey, every day, Charlie, let's go here, let's go there. No concrete plans. You don't have anybody, any mentor to guide you. Even Sarkodie said this.
Kofi Buache, Kakraba ho atonsase, champagne for bottle secure cement bag or ha.
When you get small money, buy land. And that is a good advice. So no place is very far. Now let's take the COVID pandemic as an example. During the pandemic, a lot of people had to work from home, right? So consider that today you may be working in Ghana, tomorrow you might be working for an international company where you would be doing some remote job, right? And you don't need to go to an office. So buy land anywhere you get land, buy it if you can afford. Just ensure that you do your due diligence so that you don't get too much litigation or issues that will slow the progress of your building project. And today it might be far. Tomorrow there may be a good university or an airport built in that area. The value of the land will appreciate. So please, if you get a land which is selling at 10,000, 15, 20,000, then buy as many as you can. Even if you don't live there, you can build it and rent it out. You can use it as an Airbnb or a recreational center. So please consider these things and acquire land. And we are going to be working with some trusted real estate companies to provide you genuine lands in and around Accra.
And each plot is 70 by 100. I actually came out of that meeting with him having purchased 4 plots. And to be honest with you, it was the best decision I've ever made. So at that time, he was selling each plot for 20,000 cedis. So I bought 4 plots and that amounted to 80,000 in total. So obviously I was delighted, excited to have made the purchase. But of course, you know, as I was going through it, you know, my cousin says to me, okay, it's great, but we need to go and start to do some work in terms of doing search because you need to be 100% sure that the land is registered in his name.
So we received this message on our Instagram DMs which says, "Hi, I saw your video on how to build a house using 2,000 cedis monthly. I own a land at Kaswa and have 55,000 cedis in cash. Then I can afford 2,000 cedis monthly. How far can I go with a 3-bedroom house to finishing level? We'll appreciate your advice." All right, so we are going to make certain assumptions in this video. First of all, we are going to assume that everybody watching has already acquired a parcel of land. If you haven't, then make sure to subscribe to the channel because we are going to be making updates on how to acquire land, the best processes, the best places, what to look out for, etc. The next assumption we are going to make is that you have at least 50,000 cedis in your bank account. Now, in dollar terms, that is about 5,000 US dollars, right? Then the third one we are going to do is you have a design that you want to build your house for a 3-bedroom house. With that said, let's go into what you need to do before you can proceed. First of all, you need a building permit. Your permit will cost you, let's say, between 5,000 to 10,000 Ghana cedis, depending on the size of the house and what you are going to use it for and more. And to get a building permit, you need an architectural drawing, right? So you need to contact an architect to put together a plan that works for your 3-bedroom house. Now, for the purpose of this video, we are going to assume that you are building on a half plot of land. A typical full plot of land in Ghana is about 100 by 70 feet. And so in this video, we are going to assume that you are doing, let's say, 50 by 70 for your half plot of land. And you are building a 3-bedroom house. So you need to work with your architect to get you a design that will work for a 3-bedroom house on a half plot of land.
It is definitely a big risk because you know, you have to put your trust into somebody, right? I mean, there are lots of contractors in Ghana you can go and hire, but if you don't have background, history, or someone else that's used them, it's really risky. I was fortunate enough that my cousin, he trained in technical arts, building, construction and stuff like that, but actually he ended up in the military. So he took on that role for me in terms of managing the construction of the building, everything from the profile through to the actual building, you know, bringing the building up. But what he did do was he appointed a contractor to do the profiling. You know, I purchased 4 plots. He worked with a contractor, first of all, to clear all the coconut trees, then to sort of dig up all the sand, which he didn't throw away. He kept to one side because they were going to use that once they'd done the profile work, you know, and he worked with the contractor. and his team to kind of get the profile up and ready. I was really, really lucky. I think, you know, without his support, I think it may have been a different story I'd be telling you today, but certainly he was very, very involved in making sure that everybody that was engaged into this project did their part, and he held them accountable, and he ensured that, you know, he was sense checking, you know, if things didn't look right, he was challenging, you know, the contractor and saying, no, this is not correct, this is the correct way to do it, you know, and making sure that this building, as it started rising from the ground, was being constructed in the correct way.
Hey, Ghanaians don't like working with contractor. And my mason, and my mother's mason that she was using, and my uncle is a mason. Then they start. They don't even go to architects for architectural drawings. They don't go to quantity surveyors for bill of quantities. No, my mason, just say, they and the mason will do the architectural drawing. They and the mason will do the bill of quantity. They and the mason will do the setting out. They and the mason will be building. Then last minute, they reach a point, they run out of cash. They didn't plan effectively, right? And it has happened so many times. I see it every day. People come to us, we tell them, oh, we can give you a good architectural drawing for this amount. We'll do a bill of quantity for you. We would also help to manage your project. And by so doing, one, we are guaranteeing that you are going to get, you know, the artisans you need for your building project whenever you need them. Because even mobilizing artisans, that's not a joke. But Ghanaians don't like using experts. They always want the shortcuts. Some Ghanaians, not everybody. Some people are already using our services. People like shortcuts. Just said, you're the architectural drawing. No permit, nothing, Charlie. Just let's start. Then they are always running into issues.
My brother's an architect. I always used to go to sites, take pictures for him, send it to him, because he's not based in Ghana. So he always sends me to go around and take pictures for him. And I've always been a technical person. I love technical drawing, technical skills as well. So, I mean, I took it from that point. And then my mom was always encouraging us to, at least when we get some money, just buy some plot of land, no matter how far it is, just start something, that kind of thing. I mean, so it's made all of us like this whole real estate thing. Yes, we all made a lot of mistakes in the beginning because we didn't have much information. This will come as a surprise to a lot of your viewers because I said my brother is an architect. First thing first, always bring your architect to site before you start anything. That was probably my biggest mistake. You know, I was a technical person, so I just felt I didn't even need an architect.
You can do it yourself.
Yes. That I can do it myself spirit. And it's in a lot of us men, I can do it myself. But that part leads to a lot of losses, you know, because every land is different. The topography and all that is different. The slopes. And if you use the local, like our guys on the mason and all that, they don't understand slopes. They don't know how to treat slopes. So that's why I'm talking for architects here. Always bring an architect to the site, like the very first time. Don't just pick plan from somewhere and say, I want something like this. No, bring the architect to the site and tell him, look, based on this, do something that will fit the topography of the land. So that was the first mistake I did.
Getting a contractor can never be overemphasized. It saves you a lot of headache because they have good relationship with the artisans. They can negotiate good discounts for you. They have good relationships with merchants. If it comes to your roofing, they can even negotiate and get you like payment in installments and things like that you will not get on your own. Really, really important.
For which we were really lucky. I mean, the other thing that I didn't mention, I think I should mention, is that I obviously went to see an architect, because you can't really raise a building without an architect, because otherwise what do the people work to? What do your contractors work with? So I met a great architect who I spent a couple of hours with, going through the drawing, what I wanted, talking to him about what I wanted for the house. And I left Ghana, came back to the UK, and my cousin continued with that piece of work. And of course there was phone calls with me, and that drawing was released eventually, which became, the main point in terms of how to bring the building together. So we had that contractor involved in the project for about a year and a half. And it rose from the ground all the way up to the flow. There's a story building that I'm constructing at the moment.
When people consider building projects, they think about it as an investment where once your money goes in, it never comes out. And people have many, many reasons why they would not build a house at all and just continue to rent. We want to give you good reasons why you should start a building project. Start. Save small. So any small amount you get, just continue to save and build bit by bit. Don't envy anybody. Don't look at what somebody has done to rush and then you reach a place where your building cannot be completed. Save small. When you get money, it's not all the time that you need to spend, especially the young men. It's not Charlie. Girls, no, they are there. Relax. Okay, relax. And the girls too, their dress, their hair and things, they are all there. But relax. When you get money, save some. It's not every time that you'll be eating pizza and going out on trips and dates and Charlie vacation and things. Sometimes save small. Save. We have experienced a lot of people complaining about the price of building materials and stuff. A year ago, 2022, between January and April, a bag of cement was selling between 40 to 45 Ghana cedis. Today,
You can get Gasem 42.5 R grade cement for 95 Ghana cedis, and you can get Jata 42.5 R grade cement for 98 Ghana cedis. Other alternative, Simaf 32.5 R grade cement is going for 82 Ghana cedis, and Diamond 32.5 R grade cement is going for 71 cedis.
so that has also more than doubled in just a year. So those of you who are always putting off your building project, looking at the value of the prices of building materials are going up, I don't think they are coming down. So please, just start. If you look at the winds, you will never sow, right? That's a proverb which is in the Bible. Just sow your seeds today, start something, buy land, start small. It might take you longer than you expected, right? Maybe you plan to complete your building project in 2 years, but the way the prices of building materials have gone up, maybe in 3 or 5 years, you complete. It is better than not starting. Once you start a building project, it gives you a certain level of financial discipline that many other projects are not going to give you. Let me explain. Once you start building and you get a contractor, you get an architect, you get a quantity surveyor to give you like the bill of quantities. Like, okay, for the foundation, it's going to cost you, let's say, 50,000 Ghana cedis for, let's say, a 3 or 4 bedroom house, right? A story building. And he tells you that this is going to be completed in, say, 1 month. Then you know that you need to save 50,000 cedis. And so it guides you when you are making certain purchasing decisions, right? If you are somebody who used to buy like a lot of expensive clothes every week or month, now when you're buying your clothes, it tells you that if, for example, you spend 2,000 cedis on clothes every week and a bag of cement is 700 cedis, you know, you now calculate the clothes in terms of bags of cement. So you say, this dress I'm going to buy can buy me 20 bags of cement. Now, I'm not saying you should not enjoy your life or enjoy your salary or your labor and all that. No, but I'm just saying that once you begin to build and money is going into it, your contractor is requiring you to make some purchases and to bring money for labor, it guides you on how to spend. Maybe you are somebody who likes to buy the latest flagship phones. If an iPhone comes, you want to have the latest iPhone 14. In this year, there's going to be an iPhone 15. Maybe it's going to sell at 30,000 Ghana cedis, right? But you are the type who always wants to trend and be the first person to have it. Now you consider and say, this 30,000 can build a fence wall around my property. Should I really upgrade my iPhone 14, which is still working? Or I should invest that money into my fence wall or do some plumbing, buy some tiles, buy some burglar proof, etc. Once you start building, it makes you very conscious of your spending habits, your expenditure, and your income. Secondly, it helps you to also look at alternate ways of getting additional sources of income. What do I mean by this? Let's assume that you get a salary of 5,000 cedis, but every month you need to make an investment of 10,000 cedis into your building project. You need to find ways of getting that 10,000. So what do? Let's say you're a teacher who is earning 5,000. You can organize classes, you can start a YouTube channel, you can do an Uber, you can invest in somebody's catering business, etc. It gives you innovative ways to think about making money so that your building project doesn't come to a halt. And so it helps you to be very financially disciplined. If you're a woman, if you're a man, whatever decision you are taking, now you look at it in terms of the quantities of material that you need to purchase And you don't just waste money. We're going to look at alternative building materials to help you save money when building, especially in these difficult economic times, right? It's a well-known fact that the dollar rate has skyrocketed since like June till November, as at the time of making this video. The prices of building materials have gone really high, and so I'm here to help you with alternative materials you can use instead of the standard ones, and some tips to save money when building. When it comes to buying cement, most people typically buy 42.5 R grade cement, either Gasem, Dangote, Supersem, Simaf, or whatever brand you have in your area, right? Now, do you know you don't always need to use 42.5 grade cement? It's a shocker, right? Well, you can actually use 32.5 R grade cement, but during which stage of the building process? So if you are doing like plastering, like I'm doing right now, you don't necessarily need to buy 42.5 R grade cement. You can use 32.5 R grade, provided you trust the quality of the cement. It is fine for plastering, it's fine for doing your tile work and all that, right? And even if your building is not like some mega structure, sometimes you can use 32.5 grade, though the preferred one is 42.5. So assuming you were buying 1,000 bags of cement, that's 10,000 Ghana cedis worth of savings you are going to use for the 32.5 grade cement on plastering and other minor cement works that you would need to do on your building project. If you are doing block work, right, and ideally 42.5 grade cement is required to hold your block work and your pillars and all that. But when you're doing plastering and floor works and tiling, 32.5 is okay. So if you're buying 100, you save on 1,000 Ghana cedis worth of cement. The next point is to use locally made tiles. Now, I don't know which country you're watching from, but in Ghana, we have the imported tiles and the locally made tiles. When you look at it on the surface level, they are almost the same. Like if I did tiles here and I did tiles here, it will be very difficult for the ordinary viewer or bystander to see that this is the one which was imported or these are the locally made ones. However, the locally made ones, they tend to break when you don't handle it with care. All tiles break, but the locally made ones tend to break. So if you handle it with care, they are way cheaper than the imported ones. Most people don't know. So just check your local area and see if they have the locally manufactured tiles and buy them. Another reason why it is going to be good for you to buy locally manufactured tiles is because the government is going to put a ban on imports of rice and tiles and other materials where we have the local versions. So we have local rice, but many people have a preference and a taste for foreign rice. So the government is banning that because we use a lot of dollars to import all these things, and ultimately it's affecting our exchange rate. So you just put yourself in a good position if you buy the locally made tiles, or if you want the imported ones, look out for when there's a discount or a promotion going on and buy them. Next, let's look at POP. If you want to do POP, I always advise don't do full POP. It's nice if you have the money, but then a lot of money is going to go into it. So alternatively, you can just put a POP along the edges or the four corners or four walls of your building, right? And then you just do some small designs, especially if they are the bedrooms where most visitors will not go. Put it around the four corners and they can paint the roof and it will look really good. The next point is a very important point, especially for people who are now going to start their building project, right? Many people, when it comes to digging the foundation, hire laborers who go and dig. Sometimes they use 5 days, sometimes they use 6 days, sometimes they use 10 days, depending on how big the plot of land is and how deep they need to dig, right? But do you know you can actually use an excavator to dig and complete that work in 1 day? Now, typically an excavator charges about 2,000 to 3,000 Ghana cedis per day, right? And if you supervise and you focus, they can do the whole digging of your foundation for you in 1 day. And so you pay 3,000 instead of paying about 5 laborers 200 Ghana cedis each. That's 1,000 Ghana cedis a day, right? And if they use 5 days, you are going to pay 5,000. If they use 6 days, you're going to pay 6,000. So use an excavator and save yourself a lot of money. The fifth point is to ensure that you cut your own blocks, right? This may seem a bit difficult or too technical for most people, But if you buy cement and you buy all the materials you require, you can get the guys to come and cut the blocks for you. And you realize that you get more blocks if you cut it than if you went to buy the blocks. So assuming that you are now starting your building project and you need about 5,000 blocks. Today, a block is selling for about 7 Ghana cedis. So that's 35,000 Ghana cedis. However, if you are going to cut your own blocks, you are going to use about maybe 20,000 Ghana cedis to produce 5,000 blocks, right? Including the labor, the cement and everything. So cut your own blocks and save on money. Really, really important, especially if you are now starting, or maybe you're even going to do your walls. All right, so for you to put up a fence wall in Ghana, we are assuming that the plot is 100 by 70 plot, okay? And if it's a half plot, then you can probably have the total final cost. So stick to the end of the video because we're also going to talk about the gate you are going to require when you are done putting together your fence wall. Now, with that said, you're going to need about 2,000 pieces of solid blocks, 6 inches solid blocks. Today, 6 inches solid blocks is selling for about 7.20 Ghana cedis. It could be less, it could be more. Let us know how much it costs in your local area. But let's estimate that we are going to get our solid blocks at even 8 Ghana cedis. So the 2,000 by 8 is going to give us 16,000 Ghana cedis for the blocks alone. Next, you are going to need bags of cement. You are going to need at least 100 bags of cement for the mortar, the concrete, and you are going to need more if you want to plaster your walls. We are looking at about 45,000 cedis to about 50,000 cedis for 100 by 70 plots. And so if you are doing a half plot, then that is going to be about 20 to 25,000 Ghana cedis for the 100 by 35 or a 70 by 50 plot of land. And it also helps if you already have neighbors who have done some parts of the wall already, then you don't need to spend so much money. But if you are the first person starting off in that area, they are going to use a lot of money. We are going to look at an alternative building material, which is using interlocking bricks as opposed to using normal cement blocks for building. Are there any cost advantages?
Oh, a lot. It's cost effective. You tend to save more when you work with interlocking bricks.
Now, how would you quantify the cost benefits when using interlocking bricks as compared to using cement blocks for, let's say, a 2-bedroom house, same size, same quantity?
15 to 35%. And it can even be more.
Supervise your building project to avoid rework. Oh my. Many a times, a lot of people waste so much money when building because they don't have the right people to supervise their project. Either they are in the diaspora or they are too busy to supervise their project or they have no clue what to look out for, right? And so going to the site physically is mandatory if you are building in Ghana or in Africa.
Learn to negotiate. You will ask for a price. They will give you a price. Oh, trust me. And if you don't challenge it, you will pay that price. Learn to negotiate. I learnt the word, my tree is not great. It's British tree, and so everyone laughs at me. The one word I learnt very quickly was, oh, Charlie, tisu, tisu. And they would laugh at me. I'd say, oh, power chop, tisu, tisu. And they would laugh and they would reduce it. And now the conversations I have with them when they call me is like, oh, auntie. I'm like, don't auntie me. Why are you charging me 4,000 when you know the job is 2,000 in time? But it's an art that you need to learn. So don't always take the first price. Sometimes the first prices they give you are correct and there's no negotiation. But majority of the time you can negotiate a little bit. You can get some off. And if you work with the same people over time, those prices will come down because they know you, they know your project. And I feel that one of the big benefits for me in having my house built is I've kept the same group of people all the way through. They have encouraged me. You know, when I've had moments where I've wanted to give up because I'm fed up, they have encouraged me, oh, you've done well, you know, oh, you will finish it. And I will finish it this year because this is the 5th year.
Like I always say, if you want to build, this is the best time to start building because the prices of building materials in Ghana are always increasing.